everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. We'd like to call our meeting to order now. And let's begin by observing a moment of silence. Thank you. Let's everybody stand and say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tonight we have an item to add to our agenda. So we'd like to add a surplus of the two 2000 Dodge Caravans to the agenda. So I'll need a motion to amend the agenda by adding consent item F.
Make a motion.
The motion by Ms. Bart and second by Mr. Bowers. All those in favor say aye. 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 And next we need a motion to approve the amended agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Johar, and I will second that. All those in favor say aye. 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 And opposed? Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Okay, I think we're ready for recognitions. Yeah, we got a new Carla tonight.
Not improved, but new, that's for sure. All right. Well, we are very proud tonight to recognize a group of students from Muhlenberg North Middle and Muhlenberg South Middle gifted and talented programs. These students participated in the Project Launch Plus program through Western Kentucky University during the 2022-23 school year. As sixth graders, these students completed a battery of nationally normed tests and received written reports on grade level abilities in language arts, math, and science. These students scored at a high level in one or more areas of assessment and were awarded the opportunity to attend Camp Discover, which was a week-long summer camp on the campus of Western Kentucky University during the summer of 2023. Along with Camp Discover, students had access to Virtual Discovery, a 2-week online learning opportunity before and after they went to camp. Parents of these students were emailed research-based information on topics to help support their children. And that's not all. These students get the opportunity to attend Camp Discover in the summer of 2024 as well, which adds up to thousands of dollars in educational opportunities they received at no cost. Parents can clap for that one. That was the students, I'm very excited. Now, there are a few students that couldn't be here tonight because of extracurricular activities that they were already participating in, but I still want to say their name. Landon Blettsinger, his dad. All smiles there.
You don't get to make a picture.
I was like, no.
No, not him.
And as a matter of fact, if you don't care, and she's going to get me because I did not ask for permission, but Miss Sherry Brown, will you please come up and help me give out the certificates? This is Sherry Brown, their gifted and talented teacher at middle and high school. And she is the reason why they get these opportunities. You know, she really looks for those and helps them. So thank you to Miss Sherry. Autumn Dixon.
How do you want me?
All right, Mr. Perkins can get a picture for us. Get Daryl in there.
I'm gonna get them both. And 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.
Sherry's really going to get me now that she's in the pictures. I'm sorry. Kent Ginsburg.
Don't you saw me today? You can be the number two.
Right at me. Gotcha.
Audrey Jenkins.
Go here first. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Reese Harper. He had basketball on. Whitney Jones.
Good job.
Nathaniel Kissinger.
Perfect.
Miller Mays. Vince Sharp, I think that's a swim meet. All right. And Miles Thomas.
Got it? All right, and one more time. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
There are two students from Muhlenberg South Middle Gifted and Talented Program who were 8th graders last year that participated in the Project Launch Plus program also. For 8th graders, students were invited to take the ACT early as their nationally normed test. Trace Harper received recognition from the TIP Kentucky program at Western Kentucky University for meeting the high school benchmark in science on the ACT.
As an 8th grader.
As an 8th grader.
Right here. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Good job.
Excellent job.
Good job.
Garrett Lambert received grand recognition from TIP Kentucky at Western Kentucky University for achieving well above benchmark in all 4 areas of the ACT, which are English, reading, math, and science, as an 8th grader.
All right. One more.
Good job.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
All right. Thank you. If I could ask the students to join me out in the lobby, we're going to get a group picture, all right? Now.
Congratulations, everybody, and it is wonderful to see this activity in Gifted and Talented.
Good job. Keep it up. Keep it up, man.
Andrew, you thought they were all here to hear you, didn't you?
It's real now.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. Absolutely, absolutely, we do.
Okay, it's now time for our treasurer's report, Mr. Bletzinger.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Wells. Board members, bring you the financials as of October 31st, 2023. Revenues, the beginning balance was $34.2 million. This is down by $2.7 million from last month. The monthly receipts were about $2.2 million. This is down $807,000 from last month and $1.1 from the same period last year. The significant ones, SEEK was up $102,000, federal was down $433,000, food service was down $308,000 for total revenues and securities in about $36.4 million. On the expenditure side, the accounts payable was $1.2 million. It is down approximately $956,000 when compared to the same period last year. This is again mainly in construction and debt service. The significant bills in October were for performance flooring of $127,900. That is still tied to some of the flooring that has been being replaced, like the tiling that was being replaced in the schools from the burst pipes. Excuse me, I couldn't get that out. And then train was $72,606. Lanham Brothers was $70,398, and that is the completion of the Muhlenberg North Middle entrance that is complete now. Payroll is $2.89 million and is down $76,000 versus October of '22 for total expenses of $4.12 million. Breakdown of the accounts payable. Fixed and mixed expenses about $550,000, variable expenses $542,000, and utilities are $134,000. The ledger balance. What did I do? Oh wait, I just add things up here. Sorry about that. About 32.24. Well, I can't see from back here. I do. So the bank balance of 21.8 million with outstanding checks of about 634,000 for a cash close of 21.2 million. Further breakdown of that balance, general fund is at 19.399 million, which is about 1.5 million decrease. Debt service is at negative 874,000, which again, that'll just keep going into negative until we true it up at the end of the year. The only other significant one is the special revenue fund, which is at a negative 1 million. We do have the fiscal year 24 cash assurances complete, so we should start getting our fiscal year 24 funds that we are turning into the state. Extended financial picture through March of 2024, we expect to have about 38.36 million, and it'll continue to drop after that, so. Yes, sir.
From the construction, anything left on the construction part at the high school?
I'd have to,
2.3 million this year, this month.
excuse me?
We paid them $2.some million this month. The construction, they done up October cash balance.
Constructions in October was not anything in there, but the Lanham Brothers was part of it came out, it didn't come out of construction fund. It was another funded from a different source.
How much do you know for high school?
I'll have to check on that for you. I think it's under $1 million. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I'll need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Bowers, second. Second by Ms. Bard. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. And now, Mr. Bletzinger, payment of bills and salaries.
This month, for November, I bring you a grand total of $451,029.75. Utilities were $103,000, fixed and mixed expense about $74,000, variable expense of about $273,000. The significant payment that was made was the National Fitness Campaign of $135,000, and that was the fitness court that is going to go behind the high school.
Any questions on bills and salaries? Okay, I need a motion. I have a motion by Mr. Johar. Need a second? Second by Mr. Bowers. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's now time for public participation. Okay, we don't have any today. So we will move on to our administrative report with Ms. Orr, and I will note that the personnel actions have been already given to the board in the minutes.
So we have, the first thing would be longest. Mr. Browning is here to share with us a little bit of what's been going on at longest.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to keep this brief. So, first of all, I want to say I'm proud to be the principal of Longest, and I'm proud to work in the school system. Across the school system, I have kids in 2 different schools outside of my school, and then I know what's going on in all the other schools, and we have a lot of great stuff going on across the district. So I'm proud to work here and work with everybody that's in this room. So this is a chart of our core values, our culture blueprint, and we're going to focus tonight on care and connect. We want to invest time to care, listen, and connect with others, put team before me, and do great things for each other. And the outcomes we want at Longest are a great place to work and learn, better results, and more fun. So, this thing right here. All right, there we go. All right, so through some different parent surveys and stuff we've had going on, we wanted to connect more with our families. We felt like we needed to get our families more involved. The more important education is to parents and the more it's valued, the more successful we're going to be. So we wanted to bridge that gap with our families. So Caring Connect, Family Reading Night, we had Reading is Groovy, just some things that are going on there. Every kid got the opportunity to tie-dye a shirt. The public library came and we made lava lamps. Then we had the book fair going on and we just had open reading on the lawn. So it was a good night, but again, we had a huge turnout. So we were getting our parents in, our families in. So that was one way we're Caring Connecting. Celebration of Learning Night and Kindergarten Letter Fashion Show. So students, Miss Orr has brought this idea of student-centered and them presenting what they're doing. So we had our celebration of learning. You can just see some pictures there, students showing their parents what they've been doing. The two bottom pictures there that have the animals in them, our fifth grade designed a zoo for our kids primary kids to come visit. All of those animals are designed by the kids by donating, community members and different families donated cereal boxes, cracker boxes. So all of those are rectangular prisms and the kids got to choose those and then build their animal, and they had to tie it into math by finding the volume of their animal from their boxes they used, and they also had to use writing because they wrote a report on the history and geography of the land of where that animal lives. So kind of cross content there and tied it in. And down at the bottom, coming off the red carpet, I believe that's Sherry Miller's grandson, and he is the letter C. We pulled out the red carpet. 1073 came and emceed our fashion show, so they got to go out and do their thing. It was fun. So we partnered that together. Fall Festival, we had a great weather day. It was perfect. It was like 75 and sunny. Just a lot going on there. And then we had it at night for our family. So we do it all day long for the kids. They rotate all through a bunch of stations, and it's just a day where we get to, care and connect. Adults are being able to build those relationships outside of the classroom. And you can probably tell somebody sitting on the front table here has got some pink hair there and painting fingernails. So I will give Miss Orr a shout out. She spent at least 4 or 5 hours painting fingernails that day and came back and helped at night with one of our food stations. So she was there with us. Caring Connect Spartan Celebration. So at the end of each month, we recognize our students for doing great things, and we invite our parents in for this. And the kids do not know they've won an award, and the parents keep it secret. So when they see their parent, now they know when they see their parents in the stands, they've won something. We give out 4 awards per class, so that's 12 per grade level at our school. So by the end of the year, we're hoping to call that student down, every student in our building, and recognize them in front of everybody. The bottom right, every award winner got to come down and play a rock, paper, scissors tournament, so that's the final 2 in front of the school. Bottom left, the winners of our first Spartan celebration got to have pizza with me in the office. It's hard to see the top right, that's Miss Rebecca Haley. Last competition was a teacher from each grade level put a shower cap on and shaving cream their head, and then the kids tossed Cheetos, and we counted Cheetos to see who had the most. So that's who's getting to eat pizza with me tomorrow. Clubs, we have clubs during the day. We want every kid to have an opportunity to participate in them, so we don't do them after school. We've built them into the schedule. We have, let me see what all we offer. Got it here. Didn't want to forget. agriculture club, art club, basketball club, board games, crafts, kindness club, outdoor games, performing arts, and STEM is what we're offering. You can see Mr. Watkins is there as a guest basketball coach. Mr. Lyle has come over as a guest basketball coach. Mr. Devine has been there. We're getting former coaches in our community to come back and help our kids in the basketball club. We've had Miss Vi from the 4-H Extension Office come for STEM or Ag, and we've had guests come in for STEM. We've had some baby pigs come in for Ag. We've had a lot of stuff going on there. Social emotional learning, I would say this is one of the things that we do really, really well at our school, and it has nothing to do with me. Miss JoJo Jarvis is our counselor in the top right picture, and we do a morning meeting every morning on Google Meets, and she has created the last 2 years called Wellness Wednesday, and she does a mini wellness lesson for the whole school, and then teachers sign up to have her come to their rooms. So she does 18 lessons throughout the month where she spends about 30 minutes in her room and really goes in depth on that. So in the bottom left, this month, Thanksgiving, November, we're talking about gratitude. So every student will see their heart represented up there on our gratitude tree, and staff will have 350 hearts. She's going to each room and talking about gratitude and how you can always be thankful for things, no matter the situation. I don't know, this is supposed to be a little video. Can I see? She plays a little video. 5th grade, you wouldn't think, you think 5th grade may be a little too cool for it, but you can listen to them. So she's got a little activity and a video she's doing with them, and Miss Armour has actually partnered with her this month to go around, and she is using that time to teach an instructional strategy to the kids and the teachers during this group activity. So that's Caring Connect, and I believe it's working, because for statewide high attendance day, we were almost at 98% attendance and won the region for elementary schools. So I believe that connection of getting the parents involved, and we're really making an effort to put out a lot on Facebook so the parents can see what's going on. We've got the Apogee app where we're being able to communicate with them. So open communication, and then getting them in as much as possible and building that bridge, because we think it's important for the success of our kids. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the next presenter we have is Miss Stacy Jones. She's going to share, we know test scores came out, and while we are not focused completely on those, we do understand it is an accountability piece. So she's going to share as a district how we did.
Okay, so it was late this year. I mean, I was getting nervous here. First year as the assessment coordinator, and I'm thinking, did I miss something? Where are they? And principals, believe me, I got several calls. They're like, what's going on? I said, I promise, they're coming. But it was actually 9 o'clock on Halloween night was when they went public. I thought that was pretty interesting, the choosing for that. So the first slide, I do want to tell you from the beginning, I am not going to go into a lot of detail tonight, but I am more than willing to sit down at any time, any questions that you may have. I don't mind to send you information or sit down with you, because until you see numbers in front of you, they described it very well. This was from one of the presentations from the state. The accountability system is extremely complex, and they do have to meet federal requirements. There are state requirements that have to be met. So it is extremely complex, but it is, once you look at it, it is easier to understand after you look at real numbers. So there's a lot of things there, scores, color ratings, indicators that go into it. I do want to share with you, as you look at the school report card, which is open to the public, you can bring up the dashboards. If you look at the color system and you look at the images, they look very similar to what you saw last year. So to to the eye, it looks like we can really make a lot of comparisons. The truth is, we cannot. You cannot compare last year. The colors, although they look the same, the dashboard is very pretty, they do not mean the same thing. Last year's colors only displayed the students' assessment status, their weight, whether they were novice, apprentice, proficient. That's all their scores based on the weights. And again, this is a lot of information that I don't expect to sit here and tell you right now that would make any sense if I didn't have something in front of me. But I do want to make sure and go ahead and let you know that you cannot look at last year's data and compare this year's to it. This year, the colors are based on, like I said, last year was only status. So if you look at the left side of this column, it would be color rated based on if students scored low, medium, high, or very high. This year, it's a combination of that status on the left, and then at the top going across is the change score. So they took the prior year scores, subtracted them to get the change score, and then added that to the status score. So you're seeing how I could just keep talking a lot. If believe me, these guys know I could keep talking about it. But I just wanted you to see how those colors came to be, and they are different. Again, this slide, and I could share with you, shows how elementary, middle, and high school, the areas are weighted differently. So again, you cannot combine the levels and get an overall district score or color this year. It is only a color for elementary, and then a color for middle, and then a color for high school.
What's the reason of changing every year since I've been on the board? Matt has explained maybe 5 times.
Yes, and that was
Accountability changes. What's the reason behind it?
legislature is who makes those decisions, and that was I just.
No, but what are they getting when they know they can't compare it to last year?
No.
And, what's the benefit of it?
Now, what we can look at, and I know as a principal what I focused on and what I still would look at is the assessment results, like if the students, how they were performing, if they were novice, apprentice. That actually does stay fairly consistent. It's all the other things they add in. But again, like Ms. Orr just mentioned, and like we all know, it's just a snapshot of that one moment in time. And we have a lot of other things like Mr. Browning just shared. I would crunch all these numbers and look at these spreadsheets for a long time, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to a classroom and see what's really happening in our district, because we've got so many great things going on. But we have one school that exited what was TSI, is a category that federally, we do have one school that is exited from that. They had that label, they qualified, I guess you could say, as that category last year, but they are no longer labeled as that. We do have, the high school has one group that is falling under targeted support and improvement, and that is just one small group that receives that based on their comparison in the data. But again, I can explain that later on if you have any questions. I want to kind of bring out a few of our celebrations. The high school received blue overall, and this is in our district overall. Our students feel like they belong, and they are safe in our buildings, and they feel like they have positive support from adults. That's overall what students were saying, but very proud of our high school for the change that they have made. They had a significant increase in climate and school safety, so I feel like that's something to be very proud of.
We knew that, Mr. Carver. I was coming, huh?
Yeah.
A matter of time. You're doing a great job.
Yes. And when you dive into the school report card closer, you view the accountability by schools, and our elementary schools were actually green across the board in indicators because they had increases. So it proves that resources that are being used by our teachers and strategies they're making significant gains. So we're very proud of that. What we have always done in the past is we always have looked to make structure and look at the data and look for groups. And I wanted to bring up that a group that we definitely have focused on in the past. We've seen discretion between like 2 or more races and compared to other students, and that arrow shows that there was an increase in the demographics there in that group. So very proud of that at the middle school level. And high school in science, social studies, combined writing, economically disadvantaged students in the past, and many districts will talk about how can we help those students get to the equal playing field. And I want you to pay attention that not only did those students have an increase, they actually outscored and outperformed other students in that category. So I'm very proud of that as well. And then the school report card actually it does include kindergarten readiness. I was excited. I wish Ms. Johnson was here. She was very happy to hear the results put the previous years. This year the district was 50% ready, and I took the ready and ready with enrichments, and compared to the state at 46%. So we are above the state this year, and very proud of that. Definitely the work that SOAR is helping put into that, and then preschool doing a lot of work. It's paying off. ACT, looking at last year, the average score 15.5 to this year's, or actually last year 22-23, 16.8. It's a huge increase. Very proud of that. We still have room to grow, and we know that. As a matter of fact, I had a meeting. Mr. Carver asked me to come over, and his testing coordinator, they were wanting to talk about some ideas last week. So they're constantly thinking about what they can do. And so that's just a quick summary, but I would be more than happy to answer any questions you have at any time.
You got dinner ready? You got dinner?
Dinner.
You got questions? You can ask questions all day long.
Not yet, but I can make that. Yeah, I
All
can make that.
right.
So just quickly to reiterate, and we've talked about this, with the KSA, of course, it's an end of the year, basically, and we don't get a breakdown. So we don't really know when a student scores novice in reading, is it reading comprehension? Is it, basic, we don't know the areas. And so that's where we put a lot of emphasis on our formative assessment, which is our I-Ready assessment, because we can break it down and we can see what students need and then have the resources and the ability to give them specifically what they need. So I think that's a very important thing to remember, is that while this is one piece of data, we have a lot of data that can come together to really tell us what our students need. So, thank you. All right, I have one more thing. I'm busy tonight. I'm not, they are. We have Andrew, he's gonna share, do you wanna preface it or just let him talk?
Well, this is Andrew Tolbert with CRI. We have been working with Andrew. I think he's been coming consistently to our district as the senior auditor with the group for about 5-6 years now. And really, like I said before, the reason why we stay with CRI is that we have built up a good relationship, but they also bring in new junior auditors. So it's not the same eyes looking at it every year where there's no familiarity that gets in place with that. So they are critical, and we do appreciate that. And so Andrew is going to discuss the audit that we received this year for the fiscal year 23, and I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and present tonight. Again, this is the June 30, 2023 audit. I know you all just looked at current financial information, but we're looking back at the June 30, 23 audit. And we're going to do things a little bit differently than we've done in the past this year. I feel like in the past, we just flipped through the audit pages pretty quickly. It's a pretty long document, but Mr. Bletzinger has 2 printed copies of the audit if you'd like to look at that, and we'll also provide him an electronic copy. I've also attached my contact information to the front of our slides here tonight, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me and we can go through that. This first page, on page 2 here, we've got a table. There's 3 reports in the audit. The first is the independent auditor's report, and you all received an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which that is the opinion you want on the financial statements. It's a clean audit opinion in that respect. The second report is an independent auditor report on internal control over financial reporting. And in that letter, we noted no internal control findings for the district, which again is a positive thing. The third letter is an independent auditor report on compliance for each major program. This year, we looked at 3 major programs, the ESSER grant, Title I, and Child Nutrition, your school food, and we had an unmodified opinion on all 3 of those programs. So again, a credit to the district and your team here over your grant oversight. Next, I'm going to touch on just a couple of the financial highlights, and this won't be on your graph, but in general, your construction in progress has increased about $3.1 million this year, and that's due to your cafeteria and ball field projects. Overall investments are up about $3.9 million. That's due to you all reinvesting money and earning a higher rate of return this year as compared to the prior year. You also have interest income that's increased about $1 million this year due to the federal funds rate you all are receiving on your bank account. You did have bond proceeds during this fiscal year where proceeds came in. A lot of those construction expenditures will happen in FY24 as they're spent out on the construction. Also received some insurance proceeds and about a $250,000 donation from the Felix Martin Foundation for digital whiteboards. So a couple of the just unusual items this year. Overall expenses, very comparable to prior years. You all are still utilizing the ESSER funds, the COVID monies in your expenses. Food service, overall revenues have increased because you all have served more meals. They're still using a higher reimbursement rate. You also had some increased costs because the cost of serving those meals has also come up this year. Overall, we look at food service cash balance to your average monthly expenses. You've got about a 10-month coverage in cash, so you have a healthy food service balance. There may be some expenditures related to the cafeteria that are upcoming, but food service overall in a healthy financial position. And your daycare also saw an increase in revenues due to some continued COVID money and just being open and available an entire school year in that respect. I'll flip to the next page. This is looking at just the general fund. Your general fund balance ended at about $31.885 million. You all, again, have a healthy general fund balance. Looking at your average monthly expenses, you have about 10 to 11 months worth of expenses coverage there. That's due to some unknown factors with the future of the TVA funding that you all receive, any future seat changes that may come down the line. And it's not dollar for dollar, but the last 3 years, the district has received about and spent about 15 to 16 million in COVID grants. That's not going to be a sustainable grant in the future. So by spending those grants in the special revenue fund, the general fund has seen an increase in fund balance the last 3 years. So
That's what public don't understand.
right. It has increased, but if we didn't have the COVID money, the general fund or another grant program would have covered those expenditures. Again, not a perfect dollar for dollar because things would have been different, but essentially affected that COVID money in that respect. The next page is overall general fund revenues by local, state, and federal sources. Again, very similar makeup to that of prior years. Flipping to the next page, that's your general fund expenditure side, broken out into instructional, administrative, plant operation, transportation, and other. Again, very comparable across your last 3 years overall. The next page shows the net change in fund balance for the general fund. This year for FY23, about a $5.3 million increase in fund balance, which again is kind of due to the interest income and some timing of expenditures when things are paid and the COVID grants, as we talked about there before. And the final graph is your governmental funds, fund balance overall, broken out by category. Your assigned fund balance is about $2.5 million. Those are site-based monies and monies restricted for encumbrances. Non-spendable are your inventories. Restricted amounts are for grants, future construction projects that have started, and your Greenville library investments that are restricted for that purpose. Committed funds are for future construction and sick leave, and then unassigned would be essentially what is left available for day-to-day. I know that was kind of quick and brief, but we kind of wanted to give you a summarized picture without having you flip a ton of pages this year. So if there's no questions on that, we appreciate the opportunity to be here. We enjoy working with the district and your team here as part of the audit.
Thank you.
I like this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Used to be thick.
And if you have questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to Eric and your team across central office and all across all the district, because it's a big job.
I appreciate my team, but I also appreciate everyone's efforts across the district. It goes to the principals, it goes to their financial secretaries. Everyone is a very big contributor to this.
Thank you all.
I have just one more thing, I promise. We had our state representative Rebecca Raymer in our district today. We were able to see Ag Day for all of our sixth graders who get to go, and it's a combination of 4-H, Extension Office, our FFA, and Kentucky Farm Bureau. So we got to see that, and then we visited some of the schools, and then we're able to have lunch with some of our administrators where they got the opportunity to ask her any questions or voice any concerns. So it was a great day, and she was very impressed and said she's excited to be able to come back. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
all right, Alex.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Wells and board members, just take a minute to review month 3 attendance. For the third month, as a district, we were at 92.48%, and our enrollment was 4,229. If you remember, last month, we took a pretty big hit on enrollment, so we're down just one student this month compared to, I think it was 14 or 15 last month. So continuing to fight enrollment, every day, especially with the homeschool, and we talked about that today with Ms. Raymer. So just a couple high points. I want to recognize the division leaders. Elementary school division, Bremen Elementary we're at 94.5% for the third month, and they were also our leader in the second month that I failed to mention. In our upper divisions, the leader for the month was North Middle School at 92.18%, and then again in the second month as well at 93.44%. So all of our schools do so many good things to work towards getting that attendance up and making school fun for the kids. And Mr. Browning kind of showed just some of those things that each school does so much. So our kids love coming to school, and it's an everyday battle, but we're doing everything that we can to try to get them with us as much as possible. And that is all that I have as far as the attendance report.
Thank you.
And then I'm up again, I think, on the next agenda item.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're ready for the board agenda items, and the first is to approve the school calendar committee.
So the Kentucky Revised Statutes, KRS 158.070, requires each school board to annually approve membership of the school district school calendar committee. The membership of this committee meets the guidelines outlined in the statute. You all should have those committee members. So that statute kind of outlines who is to be on the committee, and that's one principal, one district office administrator, one member of the local Central Board of Education, 2 parents of students attending the school district, 1 school district elementary teacher, 1 school district middle or high school teacher, 2 classified employees, and 2 community members. So what you see should reflect that. And I recommend the Muhlenberg County Board of Education approve the representatives to serve on the 2024-25 calendar committee.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay, we have a motion for Mr. Joe Hart. Can I have a second? Second for Mr. Bowers. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed.
And
Thank you.
that meeting will be November 30th here.
November 3rd. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
Got it on my calendar. All right, the next item is to award the bid for lawnmower quote, Mr. Watkins. No, Mr. Bletzinger. I can't read across. Need new glasses.
It'll be me the rest of the time. You gotta put up with me. The current lawnmowers that we have across the district are nearing the end of their usable lives. So Derek has approached me about replacing these. There are 5 mowers that in the amount of $12,589. These are industrial mowers. They're high quality ones for a total of $62,947. The lowest bid is a local bid. It's from Four Seasons of Greenville, which they are partnering with the Omnia partnership. That's a purchasing co-op group that they're able to get those through. The old mowers, we're going to either distribute them to schools that need some for either athletic fields or anything like that, or will be surplus.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions on the bid for the lawnmowers?
Is that all the lawnmowers or just?
It's 5 of them. I don't know if that's all of them for him or not. And I know they've replaced some like piecemeal in the past, but this is kind of a sweep for this one.
So you room it on here?
Correct. It's the Omnia is the purchasing co-op. Train, a lot of our train stuff comes through Omnia. It's a state bid list. In other words, there's a couple different state bid lists, and Omnia is one of them that has seemed to kind of take over
What was
from.
the local bid?
That's it. Like Four Seasons bid it through Omnia. So
That is them?
yes, sir.
Okay. So you guys don't need to involve with it.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to accept Four Seasons and the Omnia recommendation?
I'll move.
I have a motion from Mr. Bowers. I will second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. I think you're up again.
Thank you again. I'm certain Derek will thank you for that. This next one is to award the bid for the heating HVAC filter replacement services. Currently, we spend approximately about $5,000 monthly on replacing filters throughout the schools. There is a group that maintenance has asked that we outsource this, which it kind of helps twofold. It reduces the monthly cost to $3,000 while there is an initial cost for the frames that these filters will go in. The frames will pay for themselves in 21 months. So the savings monthly will cover the initial cost of the
This
$16,740.
frame hold anything after the contract is over, other filters?
Yeah, I mean, they're metal frames.
Okay. So
Yes.
Nothing,
No, they don't have like a 3-year life and then fall apart right after.
not fall apart from the naked weather, because you have to buy the filter.
No, sir. And the other part of this is that this will help free up maintenance so that, they have one person that goes around changing filters pretty much all the time. So they've asked that we do this, and I think it is a sound investment.
Yeah. You pay $60 a month for the restaurant. A month.
That's a little less than 5,000. That's right.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, do I have a motion? Have a motion, Mr. Joe Hart, second. Mr. Bowers, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. And next, we're up for the award the bid for the primary depository services.
Thank you so much. So the first two bids that I brought you cost money, and the last one will more than cover the expenses of the ones I brought to you. The district currently has deposits with First Kentucky Bank. And their current rate is based on the Fed fund rate. The initial agreement with them was a Fed fund rate plus. Once that time frame ran out, we went to the federal fund rate. So right now it's high, and it's helped us significantly, which, as Andrew pointed out, we do have a good interest return. 3 bids were received. Farmers Bank and Trust had the best bid with the federal fund rates plus 36 basis points, and a basis point, every 100 basis points is a percent. So that's how that is goes. So it's a point plus 0.36%. So right now the Fed fund rate is at 5.5, I believe is what it was. So it'd be 5.86. I did some rough math while I was waiting here on our current average daily balance. That would give us about $1.4 million in return next year, which is good in that it helps when the TVA stuff does finally come out. When we look at raises and those sorts of things, we are able to do that, and it also helps relieve pressure on need for tax. So I think it's we're trying to use the funds that we do have available right now that we're hanging on to buy us time, but while we're doing that, we want our money to work for us. So that's what the intent is. And so at this time, I would like to recommend that we go with Farmers Bank and Trust because of the rate that they've proposed.
Anyone have any questions or discussion? I will say I am going to abstain from this vote just because I do work at a local bank. So, but I have a motion from Mr. Joe Hart. Can I have a second? Ms. Bard? Yes. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passed. And congratulations and thank you all.
How does it feel?
Okay, and then the last is award bid for waste collection services.
So this was the item that was tabled last month. Again, we put out the bid for waste collection services. The Brew Crew came in at $8,500 a month. Our current vendor, Republic, came in at $9,030 a month. There are advantages and disadvantages to both of those companies. One's local, they do have limited resources. One is not quite local, but as the representative that spoke with me the other day said that they employ people in our county that do this. So this is one that I'm going to turn over to you all.
While I really love the idea of keeping things local, because I'm a local business owner as well, I'm a little concerned about the size of the company. I'm sure they do a great job, but I know Republic Services has a great deal, a lot of trucks. Should one go down, they have backup trucks. They have lots of routes here in the area, and they're proven. So I would suggest that we rebid this in the future if we need to, or if we have a problem with our current service. And I would like to recommend that we stay with Republic at this time.
And I know last month there was some concerns with Republic, but I believe you have addressed those.
Yes, so spoke with Derek. He did speak with their representative. I also spoke with their representative and basically informed them, depending on wherever the bid goes, I don't know what it was, how it was going to turn out this evening. But if we do start having issues again, that we were going to, if it wasn't addressed immediately, that we'd immediately rebid this and look at it again.
And they're understanding of that.
Yes, ma'am.
How long is this contract for?
It's a 3-year agreement.
But if they do not live up to their
I mean, there's for cause. I mean, you can terminate an agreement for cause. I mean, I always try to get a termination without cause clause in any agreement that the schools have. That way, if we so decide that we don't want this service anymore, we can reasonably back out at any time.
That's good. This was one-time problem, was it?
That's my understanding. So, I mean, like,
It was just a scheduling issue?
well, I guess they missed a pickup at one point, and, you know, so.
It was several. It was really bad. We had no place to put trash
Okay, so then,
for a couple of weeks.
so at that point, that's when Derek, and then I know Derek was, taking care of it. I also asked him that if it ever got to that point again, to please inform us up here so we can use the power of the purse as well.
Did they have an explanation of how it got to that point?
He did not, but he thoroughly apologized. And
Has it been better?
has it?
Yes.
Has it improved? Okay.
Okay.
Because I know Eric got a hold of them.
So,
The problem was they were supposed to come 3 times a week, and they were coming once a week. And they did that for about 3 weeks.
So that causes an
My head
issue.
custodian, he was just
Sure.
beside himself, of course.
Yeah, that's gonna be excessive.
My only real concern with our local is the local companies, they have one truck. And if that one truck goes down, they did tell us if they got our bid, that they would buy another truck. But we would be their largest client. So I am not of the mindset of jumping on board with that at this point. I would like to see them grow a little bit before we hand them the school board. Lots of schools and
They
lots
have
of
one client
responsibility.
so far, but
I don't,
they have a few, they're just none as large as us at this point.
and plus $500 out of my ticket.
And again, I mean, when we do rebid it out, I hope that I hope they're around and still have the ability to do so, and so.
absolutely.
Okay. So I will need did you make a motion,
I'll make
Melinda?
a motion to stay with our current provider.
Okay. And second by Mr. Joe Hart. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move down to our board consent agenda. We have had time to review this prior to the meeting, approve the minutes of the prior board meeting, approve shortened day of school for student number 2, 2023-24, surplus and disposal of broken and outdated technology equipment, consider field trip requests, consider facilities use, and then the item that we added, the surplus of the 2 Dodge vehicles. So do we have any questions or discussions? I'll make a motion to approve the board consent agenda. Can I have a second? Second by Mr. Bowers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carried. I just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, Ms. Barr. Second by Mr. Joe Hart. All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming out tonight.